Fantasy Football Show. I said it twice to make sure the boss is paying attention. He was. We're live. Hectobox, folks. Everyone just take 1 second. Let's just breathe it in. Embrace it. This has been the dream the entire season. It only took 13 weeks. Not bad. Sky Guasco, your host, Maddie Stiles, Davey Cruz, Derek Favret, Jeff Kezar, and Bob Lamarco with the Hecto box. We got a quad box in the second hour. I won't tell you who's dropping off, but you can guess. Put it in the chat. We'll do over-unders, who you think it might be. Slot us in and out of your DFS lineups. It's been a great week, everybody. Gentlemen, we got some feedback in somebody's mic. If you're not live, please just mute so we can get that going.
Definitely Matt.
Six of us.
You know, I already muted Matt and got better right away. So, Matt, you're doing something over there, buddy.
The immediate burn. I love it. We got 6 of us live. We're very excited. We got snow in Orchard Park this week. Not very excited about that if you're a 49ers fan. But, of course, you can find all of our content and everything during the week on X at Razzball NFL. You can subscribe right here to the YouTube channel to make sure you catch all of our episodes all week long. Every single evening we have an episode with me, Bob, Matt, Dave, Derek, Jeff, and we get Ben on the program as well when possible. You can find everything on the podcast repurposed as well, the Razzball Fantasy Football podcast, and all of our articles and exclusive tools available for you for free at football.razzball.com. Nobody on a bio this week. We're having a lot of fun here. It is crunch time, gentlemen.
Literally, by the way. That's 2 meetings, by the way.
Yes.
The Razzball guys, no one's on a bye, except for Ben Wazzy. He's probably sleeping. It's like 1 a.m. for him.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
But Ben's the international bye. Like he doesn't count as a bye. You know what I mean? So we got all of us live. Everybody's ready to go. Full slate here at Razzball, full slate in the NFL. We got a little bit of weather around the park. We'll get you slated on that. We do, of course, have your injury report coming up live from Bob at 9 Pacific. That is noon Eastern time for you on the other side. Gentlemen, as people file in here, we got Bill Dino waiting for us. Bill, we'll get to you in just a second. I'm not excited to answer your question. Sup, boys? Holy 6 box. Love that. Epic fail with us early. Gentlemen, we're going to go around the park here really quick, let everybody file in. Of course, we all extremely enjoyed our time with family and extended family and new family and people you didn't know was your family, and they show up again. And you're like, oh, shit. So hold on. Are you a cousin? Or are you one of my uncles? Or maybe you're a nephew. Not sure. You know, that happens.
That's a weird family dynamic, Scott. I don't think we have the time to unpack that right now.
Trust me. It's an odd one. We're going to go around really quick here, Matt. We're going to start with food. All of us are football fans, but we're food fans first. Matt, just your favorite thing on the plate this year, homemade, store-bought, restaurant, grandma's cooking, whatever it was. Favorite thing on the plate. We'll go Matt, Dave, Derek, Jeff, Bob, and myself, and then we'll get going. Maddie, good morning.
Good morning. The neighbor, we're new back to Florida. I've been here about 7 months now. I think my neighbor knows when I do things that I need people to be quiet. He's a dick.
Nice.
Since we've moved in,
good start.
Had a sprinkler head that's just going straight. It shoots straight up in the air. So we've asked him, and then we've told him, and then hey, just in case you don't want to flood your foundation out, and next thing you know, we had to call the HOA. Still nothing. And here he is out this window mowing his yard on Sunday when we're busy. So I'm going to let the dogs bark tomorrow at 6 a.m. when we get up for work. And he can suck it.
Get him, Matt.
Yeah, I'm about tired. My bonus daughter made for the first time kind of like a corn casserole, so I will give that the shout out. First time I've had that on Thanksgiving. In-laws, Nana made the turkey. She spatchcocked it, brined it, the whole nine. And I think this year the white meat was more moist than the dark meat. So I was all about that. Homemade mashed potatoes. And for some reason, I'm a rolls guy, but I don't want you making rolls. I want you taking frozen ones, throwing them in the oven, and then just giving me butter. I'm good with all of that.
Wow, I like it. Corn casserole. Shout out.
It was interesting.
Shout out to the bonus. Yeah, shout out to the bonus setter. Davey, how about you?
For me, it was a little bit of a side to put on the turkey. It was a really nice cranberry relish made with some other citrus fruits in there, and it was a really nice add to the turkey.
Excellent. Balance.
Did it have pears in it?
What's that?
Did it have pears in it?
No.
No pears.
No pears.
Yeah.
We're a huge pear. This is a huge pear podcast, so we're pro pear.
Yeah, just because you live in Florida now doesn't mean that all fruits are citrus. All
By
right,
the
Derek.
way, no. Before we move on, though, there was a time where I actually had to eat pears live on air just because I never had a pear. So trust me when I tell you, this is a huge pro pear show. I don't think people understand that.
Well, I've never seen cranberry relish segue into pears before. This is a
No, it's just all fruit. Sky is pro fruit.
Yeah.
Sky eats every fruit.
Big time fruit guy.
Yep.
Derek has come through with the pear
That's right.
behind him.
Dragon fruit, star fruit. Sky's all about it.
Derek.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Just before I get to mine, I got to go back to Matt. What did you say was done to that turkey?
It was spatchcocked.
Spatchcocked. Okay, that's what I thought I heard.
Guys, please, with the language, can we
I'm
just
telling
tone
you.
it down? It's a family show.
You know, I don't. Yeah, I guess I'm glad I don't live in Florida.
No, you basically cut it down the middle, right? Like along the breastbone, and you smash it down with your hand, and all of it goes, it flattens out, so it cooks more evenly, especially, and when you brine it, even more. So, yeah.
All right.
Do it
Well,
spatchcock, but do it on Kelly's phone. You don't
yeah,
have
I'm
to-
not going to do that because my favorite is the stuffing, and if you do that to the turkey, you can't cook the stuffing in the turkey. So I'm out on the whole spatchcock thing. I just don't want any part of it. I'm all about the stuffing. The stuffing brings it all together.
We had, don't tell my wife, we had 2 homemade stuffings. I didn't touch either one. I want stovetop or I want nothing.
Wow. OG. Nice. Jeff, good morning. You're on mute.
Now you're off mute.
Thank you. Thanks, boss. It was my wife's homemade yams. She mixes it with pineapple, pecans, and covers it with marshmallows. Phenomenal.
Nice. Jeff, smart man. First of all, your nameplate kind of covered up a little bit of the 6. I thought that was a 15 there, so I thought you were going Tebow. Just for a second. So good to see Trevor back, hopefully. And like to see that the left tackle got signed. At least they're making positive moves. Secondly, Jeff comes in quickly, just immediately throws a shout out to the wife. Smart man. I'm sure she's watching back on the program once the games get started. Boom, bonus points. Nice work. Bob, good morning. How are we looking on Thanksgiving meals for you?
Well, I had my my last meal. If you call it like when you're on death row and you get your last meal. Yeah, I know. We're gonna get dark here. You guys want to talk about some weird shit? Let's get into it. No, so like Matt, give me a nice ham, mashed potatoes, corn, and gravy. And then my wife makes a really good sweet potato, and it was like I'm like eating the meal thinking like this is it. Like if I was going down, take me now. Now, granted, get me to Sunday first, and then take me out maybe like Monday morning, so I don't have to work. I want to do the show with you guys, so that's the only downside of it being on Thursday of Thanksgiving of the last meal. But it was fantastic. I had a great time. Spent some time with family. It was very nice.
Hopefully none of it tasted like antifreeze, by the way, which is tasteless. So good luck to you, Bob.
Great, Matt. Thank you. Back to Sky for more.
You don't know what that is. No, you don't know what that means. You don't watch Dateline.
It's poison. It's trying to be poison. I get it. Yeah, no, Matt. Trust me. I have the dog try everything first. It's totally fine.
Hey, don't poison the dog, man. Yeah, the giggling granny.
Poison. No, let's back up for a minute. Sky wasn't saying don't poison Bob. He never defended my wife from poisoning me. But as soon as I entered the dog to the conversation, it's don't poison the dog. Okay,
this is
fine.
It's a dog first show.
Yeah. Dogs and
Pro
pairs
dog.
over people all day long. All right, I had a great time. I'll throw myself a shout out because it was delicious. I make a cranberry relish as well. Extra pears, no citrus, a little ginger. It was absolutely delicious. Had a sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie, and then we had this whole debate about what the difference is, and there obviously is not a difference. They're pretty much exactly the same because you use the same spices because pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie don't taste like anything if you don't put the same exact spices in it. Anyway, so you're getting duped at the store for $10 extra for sweet potato pie, but I hope you enjoy that. Good morning, everybody. We are live here on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show, talking football mostly about 80% the rest of the way. Bill Dino was in. Epic Fails checked in already. Cosmo, good morning. For the rest of you wanting to come in and let us know what your Week 13 start sit questions are, please go ahead and do that. I would imagine that everybody's trade deadlines have gone behind us at this point. If you do have a trade question still heading forward, you can feel free to drop those in as well. Hope you enjoyed some Thursday football and some Friday football. And, of course, we have a disaster coming up on Monday, which hopefully we don't have to talk about. Let's kick it off here with Bill Dino. Maddie, we're going to stick it off with you. Then we're going to go Dave, Derek, Jeff, and Bob. Again, we have the first ever Hecto box. Bill Dino, good morning. Struggling with Purdy or Stafford, leaning Stafford. Then we got Kittle and Taysom Hill. Leaning Stafford, leaning Hill. We got the injury for Purdy. We got cross country and the cold. Yes, we do have significant snow in Buffalo this time of year. It will probably be snowing during the game, but the field itself hopefully is somewhat cleared, at least for pregame. So how you feeling about Purdy and Stafford? And then do we go Kittle or Taysom Hill, Matt?
I have officially dropped Brock Purdy. It hurt to do. Home league Brock Purdy was then signed for $65 of $100 worth of fab. Terrible move. There's quarterbacks on the wire. I am not playing Brock Purdy this week. And through connection alone, I'm probably not playing Kittle, and I'm going to give Taysom Hill a run.
Yeah, I'm leaning the same way, Bill, as Purdy's hurt, and there's a good chance that Matt Milano will be back to man the middle of the field, who's a beast out there. That's a different defense with him. So I'm going to kind of, if I have a situation like that, I'm going to stay away from the 49ers.
Well, make that a three-peat. So far, I'm going with Stafford and Hill as well for many of the same reasons. Although I'm hearing and I'm seeing that the field conditions at Buffalo should be pretty good. The field's been covered, so the snow won't be a problem. And I'm hearing most of the snow, the heavy snow, will be gone early afternoon. So probably some flakes in the air. It's going to be cold, a little bit windy, but the field conditions should be actually pretty good up there in Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, make it 5. I'm going to go Stafford and Hill as well. I like the indoor game, and it could be a high-scoring affair, I think, maybe in that game. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I think it's just if we take out the element of the weather, which I don't think is, and Derek did a good job breaking it down, it's actually not going to be that bad. But still, the matchup in general, Buffalo or New Orleans, who has like no corners, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford in the dome. And then the Taysom Hill thing is just whatever. Honestly, there is no stats to tell you where to start Taysom Hill. Just start him and hope until it falls off, you know? So I'm okay with Hill, even worse George Kittle. But, yeah, I take no responsibility for a guy who gets 5 snaps at every position and then he just figures out a random way to score or something. So going Hill as well.
Yeah, I'll fade Niners as well. The Saints have allowed the 10th highest yards per attempt over the last 5 games, and they've allowed the 5th most passing yards per game. Stafford should be nice. That's indoors. We don't have to worry about that. Concerned about the Niners week 2. That's hopefully the most we're going to talk about that game. But that is the first ever Hecto box.
14-minute mark.
We got to come up with something, guys. Like we got this. We feed the duck. Just this.
Maybe like a double 3.
Double 3s isn't bad. I'll go Curry and Klay Thompson. Let's do it.
Easy gang signs.
It's almost like a turkey too, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll talk with corporate.
Ecto box, Bill. We got the 6 box holy. Love that. Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. Also, would you trust Devonta Smith or go safe with QJ and PPR? Notice the go safe with QJ and PPR, who BT Dubs had 0 points last week. Epic fail. Let's be careful. Also, Bob, at the end of the round, let everybody go first. When it comes up to you, give us a kicker report, please. Matt, go ahead.
I'm going to ride the Justin Herbert wave for now, and there is no go safe with Quentin Johnston. This is your boom or bust. If Devonta Smith is healthy, I'm playing him because I don't want the headache or the stress of watching Quentin Johnston drop 5 more passes. Now, with that being said, he had 5 targets. He would have scored a touchdown He probably would have had at least 70 yards, if not more. This entire group, well, not all 6 of us, because Jeff called out sick, I believe, last week. He actually called out family, which is sick at times. Johnson gets targets. I think Harbaugh is going to go back to him.
Sorry to cut you off. I don't think Devonta Smith's playing today. It's doubtful. So I think this is kind of
injury report.
Well, the Eagles play at 4, so we actually won't know if he's actually technically inactive, and the Chargers play at 1. So we have to kind of address the fact that you're going to have to make the decision before we formally know about Smith. And honestly, from what I've heard, he's expected. Like I've heard mixed reports. Like he's in, maybe not. I don't know. So like the question is, do you roll the dice on Smith, and then if he's out, what's the alternative? Like, or where are you going to pivot? You know.
So I'll stop. Dave, Derek, Jeff, you guys have been trumped. So Bob, why don't you just take over the show? Everybody else just take themselves off the thread.
That'd be great.
It'll be you and Bob for the rest of the show.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. See you later. It's been really good. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, Sky. Wow, look at this, huh? The best Sunday show ever. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I love you so much. I watch you all here all the time. Let me get you guys all in the bright spots. No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to address that before just to give that context. Sorry, Matt. You're right. Keep going. I'm just going to stand in my bottom left, right corner, whatever. I'm left on the screen, but I guess, left, bottom left. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so give me the Chargers. Dave, over to you.
I hate it when mom and dad fight.
Wait, who's mom and dad in this? Am I dad?
No question.
Let's not go there.
I'll let mom and dad fight over.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there.
This is Thanksgiving.
Bob has a dog.
just like it's Thanksgiving all over again. I can't do this again.
I'm going to go hide in my room. So I'm going to take Herbert, and I think by default, Quentin Johnston. Bob's right. I've heard mixed signals about Devontae Smith. Some of the higher level guys like Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter say there's a lot of concern around Devontae Smith. So it's kind of Quentin Johnston for me by default.
Yeah,
Scott,
same.
we see you, buddy. Hang on. We'll be right with you, Scott.
Yeah, same for me. The reports I saw, it's not optimistic for Smith. If he was healthy, I would play him, but otherwise, I'll go with Johnson as well, and I'm going to match him up with Herbert. Give me that mini stack.
Yeah, I'll do the same. What worries me about Kyler Murray and the Minnesota defense, they've allowed the fewest rushing yards to quarterbacks, and they haven't even allowed 100 rushing yards to quarterbacks yet this season. So Kyler Murray's kind of his game is the rushing upside, and I don't think he'll have it in this matchup. So I'm going to go with Herbert and play it safe with QJ.
Herbert as well. I've got to go QJ. I think the question for Epic Fail would be like, if you were to wait on Smith, is there an alternative? Do you have a third option? Like, and what would that look like? Because I think one of the biggest caveats today is if DJ Chark is actually active, I'm going to be very concerned to start QJ. So I'm waiting to see if that actually happens this week. If he's not a healthy scratch again, we'll see. But it's QJ for now. As for kicker report, I wanted to just formally apologize for Joey Sly last week. Unfortunately, he missed that 45-yarder to start the week. Could have been fine, but of course we're cursed. Let's get into. Let me see what I got here. Man, why do I keep putting up the wrong one?
Do we have a super chat? You want to pump the brakes on the kicker report?
Do Scott first, and then I'll do the kicker stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chargers as well. Devonta Smith hasn't even been that effective when playing the last couple of weeks. He's banged up, so we're going to go Chargers there. Epic fail. We see your other questions, buddy, and we'll get back to those as well. Scotty has chimed in here. Good morning, Scott. Always great to see you. Thank you, buddy. Hope you had a wonderful time and long weekend with fams. Morning from snowy Buffalo. So we got a long history with Scott, but there's always Buck Army, Bills Mafia. This dude's legit. He's parking lot table stomping when it matters. Rough day for the 49ers. So we'll be a Bills fan this week, Scott. I'm with you.
Scott's been through a table or two in his lifetime.
Scott's been through a table or two. You know what? I think his contributions might just come from workman's comp or something.
Yeah, that makes sense
because he's constantly flipping in the table.
Scott is BYOT.
Yeah, bring your own table. I think all of Buffalo is. PPR, lost Dobbins. That's true. Out for 4 weeks now. Man, poor one out for J.K. Dobbins. Good grief. Start Gus Edwards or McNichols. Eckler also out for 4 weeks due to concussions. That's pretty scary, this point of his career. So we got Gus Edwards or McNichols. We'll go around the horn here. Good morning, Scott. Thanks for the contribution always, buddy.
I believe Brian Robinson Jr. is the one still.
Yes.
I believe he is going to play. Therefore, I go with Gus Edwards. Mind you, he will lose some touches to Hassan Haskins, but Jeremy McNichols is the Hassan Haskins role for Washington. So give me Gus Edwards and hope for Baltimore Gus.
Yeah, with Brian Robinson healthy, I'm going to kind of pump the brakes on McNichols, and I'm going to take Gus Edwards here as well.
Yeah, same for me. Of course, it makes it easy when Robinson's back. But even if these were both the starters, I'd still be leaning Gus. Of course, with DK out. But if you watch Gus run, he was running with a purpose. I mean, we haven't seen that in a while for him. So now that he's going to get the bulk of the carries today, I really like him anyway. So yeah, give me Gus all day.
I'll go with Gus as well. From McNichols, looking at that Tennessee matchup, they've given up the most rushing yards to quarterback over the last 4 weeks. So I think Jaden Daniels will get more rushing attempts this week with Eckler out, and they rely on the rushing game. So for that, I think I'm going to go with Gus.
I'm going to make this another. Well, we haven't heard Sky's answer yet, so I apologize, Sky. I'm going to go for 5 here, a big fiver. I'm in the 5 hole. By the way, I feel like I hit for a lot of power. 5 hole. 5 as the 5 hitter. Am I like I have power, but I'm not like the main power guy. But like, why? What's the difference between 4 and 5? If I'm a 5 on a good team, does that mean I can be the 4 on another team? How does that work?
Yes.
Or are you just like, talk to me?
No, you could. I mean, 4 hitters, what you want, right? That's a big bopper. But 5 is maybe like later in the career. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But you still got some handles, right? You're gonna hit for average. You're gonna hit for pop. Get the ribbies in.
Yeah,
probably not the best
RBIs.
Wheels. Yeah, you play third base,
Big
left
RBI
field, first base, something like that.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know I batted in the 4 hole my senior year of high school. So it's not a huge deal or anything, but I couldn't hit the ball out of the infield, but I hit a lot of singles. So I should have probably been a 5 hitter for what I'm hearing. That's fine. No worries. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. First off, Scott, shout out, buddy. Buck Army. Love all this stuff. Obviously, if you could give us boots on the ground weather report would be fantastic. You know, these weather channels, sometimes they get it wrong. It'd be nice to hear from a guy who's actually boots on ground. Going Gus Edwards here as well. And I feel like this one is going to be like, he's probably going to get the end zone. You're probably looking for that. I'm a little worried about the passing game. Or Kaimi Vidal is an interesting PPR stash. I think he might be someone who gets the passing game work for the Chargers, but I'm going to lean Gus.
Was that a Kaimi Vidal? That's fine.
That's a Kaimi Fairbairn.
Yeah, I think
what is like how do you say his name?
It's Kamani, which is not a big deal.
Kamani. I'm never gonna get it right.
No, I know. That's Jeff's guy from like 6 months ago. I just want to pay respects to the one shout out on the program all Sunday. I got you, Jeff. I remember this kind of shit. It's weird. All right, it's Gus Edwards easily. Chargers, just better offense right now. I want that. Jaden Daniels, you brought up. And Brian Robinson, who's been limited all week, but he is healthy as well. The Falcons have given up the 4th most rushing touchdown rate since week 7. So they were dominant to start the season, had a couple injuries. No longer the case. That game is indoors. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think it's going to be a fun one for them. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you, buddy. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Before we move on, just want to talk quickly about the kickers. Just so everybody knows, by the way, Zane Gonzalez, if you can get him, I think that's perfectly fine. He's actually got a bigger leg than Austin Seibert, and Washington has been one of the best offenses for kickers all season, so I really like him. Chase McLaughlin, Tampa Bay kicker, as well as high up on the ranks. Little less owned than the other guys that are really high up too. And also Cameron Dicker, if you can get your hands on him, he's always been solid, but I think he's a little bit more well owned. So those are kind of the 3 guys I've been targeting.
Bob always looking to get his hands on a Dicker.
Cosmo, good morning. Good
we all
to see y'all this morning.
All right.
Half PPR, need to start 2. Gentlemen, that's half PPR. We need to start 2. Thank God there's only 4 games today and nobody actually needs questions answered.
You see Bob? Scott, you see Bob?
What?
Warming up in the bullpen?
Yeah. He's getting his hands on the dicker, buddy.
Wow, this is why people drop. This is why we struggle for viewership later in the year.
Half PPR. Need to start 2. Higgins, Ridley, Devontae Adams, Flowers, Brian Thomas Jr. and Amari Cooper in the snow. Sorry for all the choices. Cosmo, you've been with us a long time, buddy. I'm sorry for your choices of our analysts sometimes. That's where the apology I think comes from. You don't need to apologize, buddy. We're here for you. One more time, half PPR. We need to start 2 of these guys. Higgins, Ridley, Devontae Adams, Flowers, BTJ, and Amari Cooper. Matt, go ahead.
I think Higgins, but I don't love the matchup. But I think it's still going to be Higgins for me. And I am leaning Brian Thomas Jr. over Ridley. If you do not like the Pittsburgh matchup for Cincinnati, then go Ridley and Brian Thomas Jr.
For me, I'm gonna stay away from Higgins this week if I've got a lot of these other guys, and I'm gonna go Ridley and Devontae Adams.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go with Higgins as well. Cincinnati, if they have a slight chance of making the playoffs, it's a must-win today versus the Steelers, and that means Higgins really needs to be involved. And then also I'm going to go with Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Looks like Lawrence has a good shot at playing today. I like the targets. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. And then Ridley is my close third. So those are my top 3. Higgins, Brian Thomas Jr., and Ridley in that order.
Great call. I'm the same thing. I'm going to go T. Higgins and Brian Thomas, and then third will be Ridley as well.
Yeah, I'm actually going to side with the bottom shelf here, if you will. Those are the elves on the shelf. We're like, I don't know. I don't know what goes under the shelf for Christmas time. Oh, we're like the stockings. Like, yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. Anyway, back to this football stuff. Brian Thomas is definitely going to be the start of the week of this group. I really like him, and I'm not sitting T. Higgins. Still must win for the Bengals, and the outside cornerback play is good for the Steelers, but they have a lot of decent amount of. They're an average matchup, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go Higgins and Brian Thomas.
I'll go Higgins and Brian Thomas as well. There's some not the worst weather for the Jets game, but that's the second worst weather to Buffalo and San Francisco. So just be careful up there in New Jersey if you got Jets in your lineup. Cosmo, good morning. Thank you for hanging out with us. Always appreciate you. All right, Epic Fails back with a couple more here. QJ or Debo? We talked about QJ a little bit. Debo, of course, got the weather up in Buffalo. What do we got?
I'm not touching Debo. Maybe for the rest of the season.
Dave?
I don't know, man. If Debo's fallen this far, I'm going to go Debo with this. I mean, he's got some potential in running, but Quentin Johnston's got a very, very low floor. I don't know if I'm going this deep to avoid Debo.
Debo has only 4 rushing attempts in the last 3 weeks, and that's really kind of where we look to supplement his numbers. He's going to need to bring that back and show me that he's going to be active in the rushing game, which with McCaffrey back, I don't think he will be. So he's getting about 3 to 4 receptions per week over the last 8 games. Yeah, I'm just not liking that at all. I'll take a chance and go with Quentin Johnson.
Oh, wow. This is a weird question. Hard to sit Debo, but with stats that have been laid out, I think you have to go QJ in the matchup.
I'm going to say this. If DJ Chark is active today, I am going to go Debo. And we'll know that in the next 5 minutes or so. But otherwise, I'm going to go Quentin Johnson. I guess, Sky, what's your thought? I mean, you texted you yesterday. I was like, hey, how are you feeling about the 49ers? Now that the weather isn't okay. So you think Debo has no shot? All right, great. No, even the weather sounds a little better. You're not a little more optimistic. I guess QJ.
Bob, I don't know if you've been to the East Coast before, but West Coast people going to the East Coast is not as fun as if you're from there. It's going to be cold. Debo's going to be shirtless because he's massive, right? And that's cool. Unless he takes a slant for 80 yards, which I'm not going to plan on. He's had 4 red zone targets in the last 3 games, which sounds nice, but he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 6. The team's beat up. Brock Purdy's beat up. I expect Christian McCaffrey to go back to his usual self. 40 touches, probably a touchdown or 2. Debo might get a rushing touchdown randomly, but you can't bank on that either. This is rough. I hate sitting Debo Samuel, and QJ has been touchdown or bust, but I'm just going to stick with inside. Herbert's been on fire. I'm going to take Quentin Johnson.
All right. Hey, guys, before we move on, quick quiz, and nobody look. Which game on today, so we're not counting tomorrow's Cleveland at Denver game. So all the games today, which game is furthest west? West. Which is the most, you mentioned teams from the West Coast going to the East Coast.
Yeah. You said, so that's the home team. The home team would have to be.
Which home team is furthest west today? Without looking. Any guesses? Houston is in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Seattle's in New York or New Jersey.
Minnesota is the furthest west.
Holy
Every game
shit.
just about is on the East Coast today.
That's a horrendous move by the NFL in December.
Yes, when's the last time I saw that? Especially right. First
thing they don't have rainouts.
Yeah, man, good. Nice nugget there, Derek. I didn't catch that. I knew that, like Seattle and San Francisco and stuff were out there, but I didn't know all of them. Rams, Cardinals.
Rams are in New Orleans.
Chargers. Yeah, wow, nice.
Cincinnati's at home. Yeah,
good one. A lot of East Coast, man. Again, that weather comes in big time, and people make sillies about the kickers. But if you're in a kicker league, you really need to start paying attention to that kind of stuff this time of year. Guillotine question: PPR, Higgins, London, McLaurin, Evans. We need to pick 2 in PPR guillotine.
Give me Higgins and Mike Evans.
I'll take Evans in London.
And that's probably the right answer, Dave.
Yeah, some good choices today. Evans in his return last week had 6 targets, 5 for 68. I like him building on that. So I'll take Evans as well. And I'm going to go with London as well. Indoor game. Atlanta needs to win. Yeah, give me Drake. Give me Drake, London, and Mike Evans.
Yeah, definitely give me Drake, London, and then I'm torn between Higgins or Evans. I'm going to go Higgins. He's getting over 13 targets a game over the last 4 games, so I'm going to go with him.
I'm going to go London and Evans for myself.
I'll go T. Higgy and London. T. Higgins is automatic. When he's healthy, he's been peppered and he's been on fire. And
how about Drake London or Ryan Thomas Jr.?
Is this a fan request? I'm going to go London. Let's see. Drake London has scored 3 straight home games and 4 of the last 5. Yeah, I like Atlanta there in a must-win as well. Epic fail, best of luck. All right, boys. This is a big update here from Buffalo. Let's just take a breath really quick. Again, Scott, fan of the year, supporter of the year. Bob has a plaque. Getting ready. We're going to fly you out to headquarters to Razzball. Take one of those big check pictures for us. We're going to let you kick the field goal at our Christmas company party for some, charity wins and shit like that. All right, here's the update from Buffalo. Busted a few tables in my day. Facts. We knew that. We have a lake effect snow. Okay. We have lake effect snow till 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Should have snow during the game. 14-team PPR. Start Franklin, Denver. Go Ducks. Or more in Carolina. Thanks. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Hashtag Good Sports. Hashtag Buck Army. Bob, after we do this, can you let everybody know what Good Sports is here for Scott? And let's get through this one. So once again, Scott, safety first. I'm sure you're making great decisions before you jump into the table there. So I hope you have knee pads on and a helmet and stuff like that. I think that's what they do in Buffalo. So good luck there. Lake effect snow. I'm a West Coast kid. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds horrendous.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, it sounds like what we get in the Northwest, which is ice, but it sounds like that in snow form, which is terrible. 14-team PPR, Franklin, Moore. Matt, we'll go you first.
I'm going to ride the David Moore train for now. Franklin just does not have enough targets yet. I think Franklin is a 2025 guy, not so much 2024. So give me more in a game where they're going to have to throw the Staples.
Yeah, for me, I like a couple of things about the Carolina situation more than Franklin. Moore's going to probably be one of the top 3 receivers with Jalen Coker out. So, and they're playing Tampa Bay, which is a pretty good matchup for passing games. So I'll take David Moore.
Yeah, I don't love it. I'm certainly not expecting the 10 targets we saw last week versus Kansas City with Moore. We've got Thielen back, and he's a few games in now, and of course Leggett as well. But I do like the matchup a little better versus Tampa, and I'll roll the dice with Moore as well.
Yeah, I'm going to continue that one with Moore. I think Franklin, as Matt said, will be a 2025 player, more of a dynasty play. So in the long term, so I'm going to go with Moore.
Yeah, obviously last week was kind of random. It's been 4 years since David Moore had like a really impactful game in the NFL, and it was a big one. I just think game flow, you're expecting, Baker Mayfield to put up points. And so I kind of like that for David Moore. So I'm going to go Moore as well. And yeah, this is a deep cut. I wonder, is this like a DFS dart throw
14
discussion or 14 team?
14 team.
Oh, okay, it says in the question. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. All right. I love my Ducks here, but I think Moore's the case this week. Moving forward, I think Franklin's awesome, and obviously he and Bo Nix have the connection from Oregon. So I like that again moving forward. Everybody said that. I guess Moore would be the case this week. So
hey, Sky, did Oregon play yesterday?
Oregon, actually they played last night, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are they give Washington a good game, hopefully?
Yeah. Washington came out like they usually do and scored first, and everybody in Autzen was nervous. And then we just ran shop. And how about Ohio State just not showing up against Michigan? Oof. So Nittany Lions, we'll see what happens. But again, we don't talk Saturday football, Matt, remember? The boss gets upset. We had baseball and college football in the same show. Let's be careful here. I want to stay on air.
Bob brought up baseball.
Fair. Well, I know, but we can't have 2 strikes like on ourselves. Like I want to be careful with that.
Yeah, smart.
Also, Matt, I'll do guess the hat with you before we get off. I think I have a pretty good shot this week, I think. I also always think Derek's hat is Ohio State every time until I remember that it's not. And then I remember what it is. Shout out to Donovan McNabb. All right, here's a fan request. 1 QB, Murray, Russ, Winston. I almost said Russ Wilson. Russ Winston, Murray, 1 QB. Fan request. Matt?
You know what? I am being forced to go watch the 1:00 game at a Steelers club. So, fuck it. Give me Russ. That's deep analysis.
Follow the trends, Matt. Good work.
Yep.
Yeah. Murray looks like he might have a pretty good matchup against the Vikings, but they got kind of knocked off his game last week with an unexpected pass rush game from the Seahawks. And Minnesota loves to bring pressure. So I'm going to narrow it down to Russ or Winston, and not real crazy about the Denver matchup for Winston. I think he's probably got the most upside here. But I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson as well.
For me, I'm leaning Murray. I do like the potential offensive output in that Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, but I'm a little nervous with Wilson. I mean, he kind of throws a floater ball, and they're calling for gusts up to 20 miles an hour. So I don't know. I see a 2 interception game in his future to me. So Dave mentioned the pressure that the Vikings put on, which kind of lends maybe a little bit to Kyler going back to his roots and doing a little bit more with his legs, even though the Vikings are pretty good against quarterbacks that way. But I'm going to go with Murray.
I'm going to go with Russ. The Bengals defense doesn't really scare me. I know the gust will play an impact into how the deep ball that Russ throws, but I just think Russ is playing well, and I just like the matchup the best at all 3.
Yeah, I actually agree with Jeff here. And listen, there's some key injuries for the Bengals. They're going to be down DJ Turner, Logan Wilson. They're like stud middle linebackers out. They're also going to be down Sheldon Rankins at defensive tackle. So there's key injuries on every level for the Bengals. And I think Joe Burrow and them are ready. They're hungry. They're going to have to put up points to win this game. So I'm going to go Russ.
I'm going to go Russ as well. I think Russ is playing the best out of them. We talked about Jameis and Kyler Murray. The Vikings are playing really well too, and that game's on the road for Kyler. So I'll take Russ as well.
Before we move on, Sky, just really quick, I just want to do something really quick because I want to shout out Scott for definitely throwing some donations. We really do appreciate it. Just want to make sure that we have the holidays coming up. We actually have decided to partner with Good Sports. Because of the donations we have gotten this year, we're probably going to donate everything that we get this year. 100% of the donations will go to Good Sports. So, obviously Christmas time's coming up. It's a really good cause. It helps basically kids in underprivileged communities play sports. Our goal this year is really to get like $100. Probably closer to 50 right now. So we really appreciate Scott. But this year, we're probably going to donate everything to Good Sports. So it's a good charity. So please, if you guys could throw $1, we'll expedite we'll give you the quickest answer and jump ahead of the line. But more importantly, we'll donate the money over to Good Sports. Back to you, Sky.
Appreciate you, Scotty. Thanks again, man. Really, really means a lot. Correct. 4 holes and Dickers. That would be our band name if we were a band.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. All right, I'm into that.
Maybe it's like Dicker and the 4 holes is probably like flows a little bit better, but it had to be 5 holes, obviously. I'm just doing math on the screen. I'm not sure who's Dicker.
Unless it's a pair of Dickers.
A pair of Dickers and 4 holes. Oh my
4
God.
holes and a pair of Dickers.
Holy shit!
Okay, I'm ready. I don't know what I'd be playing.
I'm thinking like
some ideas.
I'm thinking that's like a probably a ska band. Maybe a little upbeat.
Yeah.
Little post ska. Nice. Epic fail. Start 2. Higgins, Dell, Devontae Adams. Also Disley or Pitts.
Start 2. So that's 2 off the top line, and then the tight end question.
Sure.
All right. Give me Pitts on the bottom. Higgins and Devontae.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Adams, and I like the matchup for Houston. I'm going to go with Dell, and for the tight ends, I'm not crazy about Pitts. He is just got such a low floor. I'll take, if I need a home run, I'll take Pitts, but otherwise, I'm going to go Disley.
Almost lost me, fellas. That was it. God.
All right. Are you done, Matt? You're not going to have another one, are you?
I don't know. I'm usually one and done. Ask my wife. Insert joke here.
Yeah.
But wow, after that, Bob looks handsome. I wonder if maybe I shook something loose up here.
You're as good once as you ever were. Yeah.
Thank you.
You
buddy.
sneezed, and now I look good. I'm gonna start throwing like dust in my wife's face. Maybe that'll make her, think I'm more attractive. That might be a good idea. That works.
All right, yeah.
By the way, she can't hear you guys, so all she probably just heard me say is, "I'm gonna throw dust in my wife's face."
Yeah, she heard you say "dicker" 17 times. Good.
Holy shit!
Dust in her face.
God.
Good.
It's just like I light some candles, I put on some exotic music, and then she walks in and I just go.
Babe, here, smell this rag.
All right. Well, okay. Now it got weird. All right, we're moving on. Derek, take over, please.
I need a rewind after that. Who did you
pick?
Does
this Matt? Smell like chloroform?
Who did you pick? Matt, who did you pick? Get back to football. Before the sneeze, who did you pick? Higgins and who?
Higgins, Devontae, and Pitts.
All right, yeah. So for me, it's gonna be Higgins and Dell for me. We already talked about Higgins. I like that. I like the matchup in the sense that Cincinnati's going to really need to throw to take that game, and then I really love the matchup for Dell against Jacksonville. So I'm going to take Higgins and Dell. And at the tight end position, I want to take Pitts, but good Lord, I don't know. I kind of like Disley as a kind of a quiet play. Let me look at my rankings real quick. I have Disley at 8, and I have Pitts at 17. So yes, give me Will Disley.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with T. Higgins. It's interesting to see him 3 times today already in these questions, but rolling with Higgins and Tank Dell. Jags defense is terrible. I'll probably get a long touchdown today, unfortunately, against us. And then for the tight ends, I'm going to roll Kyle Pitts.
The Higgins, Jeff, it's got to be linked to Pittsburgh
injuries.
It has nothing to do with Higgins, in my opinion. Higgins, when Higgins plays, he is a wide receiver 1. There is no you question that, you're just dumb at fantasy football. This guy is legit and has earned the money. He is a wide receiver 1 when he is fully healthy and playing for the Bengals.
So earlier you got on my case for skipping the line, and you just took over the show. Should we just take everybody else off the show, Matt? Anyway, we're moving on.
I mean, it's not like the viewership will go down if you go in the background, Bob.
That's wow. Now I'm upset. Now I don't even want to answer the question. Just kidding. Epic fail. I'll never let Matt get in my head. T. Higgins is definitely the guy I'm going to start. He's been awesome against Pittsburgh over the last few years, so I like him. But the other one's really tough because Devontae Adams is someone I actually have money on today. I actually think he's going to have a decent day in PPR. But Tank Dell has dominated the Jags. If you look at last year, he went off. So I'm going to go Higgins and Dell, and then Big Will Disley. New phone, who Disley? I'm loving it, baby. Let's go. It's Kyle Pitts will probably have 5 for 26 or something like that. So I'm going to go Will Disley here.
Not that we promote betting on the show.
Right.
We don't?
No. Higgins and Dell as well for me. Dell has actually still had an 18% target share, even with Nico coming back. So the opportunity is there. He just hasn't capitalized yet. That could certainly happen against the Jags today. I like T. Higgins and Tank Dell there. Gentlemen, we have 8 minutes until the top of the hour. A couple of us have to drop off, but also we have the injury report sticking around. So we will get it through here. We do have boots on the ground in Jacksonville.
Hey, Sky, before you move on, you didn't give the tight end question. You didn't answer the tight end question.
Disley, I'm sorry.
All right, so that's 3-3. So we didn't really help Epic fail there.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just floor and upside. Pitts always has the upside.
I'm happy to break the tie. I'll go with Disley. Make it 4-2. I'll go Disley.
Nice.
There we go. Big Disley. We do have a couple more questions here. Michael Lindorphins, good morning. Official Savage is back in here, and Lightning Bets also here around as well. Let's try to get through these, gentlemen, before we have the top of the hour. We have the injury report for those of you sticking around, and then we do have some bonus coverage for another hour with 4 of us, and y'all can place bets, not that we promote betting on the show, of who will be sticking around. All right, Michael, good morning. Looking ahead to week 14, love that. Lamar on a bye. We have 6 teams on a bye coming up next week, everybody. Beat the waiver wire right now before the rest of your league has to over the weekend. Lamar on a bye. Who do you prefer? Wilson, Levis, Lawrence, Caleb, or Carr? So this is definitely a waiver wire pickup for next week. Let's look ahead a little bit, Matt.
First things first, I'm not going to say that the last name might be pronounced Regina.
It's not.
There's no way. That doesn't even make any sense.
No, the
E
tails up.
No. Okay, not letting you have this one. I'll let you get away with a lot. Not this one. Not going to happen. You almost lost the chloroform. The irony is I'm more upset with the vagina than I am with the chloroform, which is probably more
your wife just heard you say you're more mad at the vagina.
All right.
Winning.
I don't think we're winning at
all. I don't know what's happened. I apologize to all the listeners.
We will be in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I probably should have just not signed on today. This is a really bad look for me and maybe the show and
True.
I don't know, and maybe fantasy football when it's all said and done. I have not looked at the schedule for week 14, so in a vacuum, give me probably Carr and Lawrence. But I love the fact that Caleb Williams is in this question because can we talk about that later, Sky, please? What happened?
Later.
Yeah. I'd love to address the Bears later.
Dave.
Well, can we address one? Dave, sorry, before you go, can we address who they're actually playing? Because we're all focused on week 13 right now. Week 14. So Pittsburgh's got Cleveland. Tennessee has Jacksonville. Then Lawrence has Tennessee. Caleb has Chicago is facing San Francisco. And Derek Carr in New Orleans has the Giants, which is
give me Carr, Lawrence, Levis, Wilson in that order.
Dave?
Yeah, for me, I love the matchup at Jacksonville, but just not enough to elevate Levis over some of these other guys. I'm gonna go with Wilson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wilson as well. Even though some of these matchups are nice, for instance, Carr will be playing in New York, so I don't like that as much as I would if it was the other way around. So, yeah, I'm gonna Steelers will be hosting the Browns that week. The Browns are done, and the Steelers are not. So give me Russ.
Now we have breaking news. Gray Albright has just sent an email to the team. Top article for November was Bobby's defensive slot. He will receive the November bonus. Everybody, high five.
Nice job, Bob. Congratulations.
Good work.
Thanks. Well, there's no baseball right now, so we need to win November. I'm sorry, guys. Like that one we should have won. I mean, I think the best win was when we won like August. I was like, yeah, baseball, take it right in the middle of their season. That was a good win. November, this is kind of our time. So, but I like it. That was not, by the way, breaking news. We didn't need to have that breaking news.
Yeah,
thanks.
I'm just trying to get back into good graces a little bit.
It's all right. No, nope.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
There was no ship, Derek. The ship wasn't even built.
That pontoon boat. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Derek here. I'm going to go Russ, and I'm going to go Will Levis. Those are the only two options for me out of these.
I feel so bad. I feel bad for Jeff having to pick everybody against his own Jags. It's really sad. But
So I got to admit, I mean, yeah, you got no Gabe Davis, you got no Christian Kirk, but the Titans have been really banged up in the secondary, and they haven't been as good over the second half of the year. And he was okay, like 280, 262, and 2 touchdown passes last year in the 2 games against the Titans. I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, Wilson, and I'm going to throw Derek Carr. I know nobody's starting Derek Carr, but I like that matchup. I'm going to go Derek Carr and Wilson. Let's get a couple more in here before we drop off, because I'm not done, and I want to get this in. Lindorphins, good morning. What do you like at flex this week? Najee versus the Bungles, or Judy revenge game at Denver, half PPR. Let's keep the silliness to a minimum. Let's get through about 3 or 4 more of these before we jump to the injury report and a couple of us drop off. So let's just get some answers around the horn again, everybody. The first Hecto box here on Razzball Sunday Live. Lindorphins, good morning. Go ahead, Matt.
Najee, I'm not starting wide receivers against Denver. I'm not starting anybody if I have a choice. If I have an option, I'm probably sitting against Denver. So Najee for me.
Dave?
Yeah, I'm going to take Najee Harris on this one.
Yep, same here. Najee in the half PPR.
I concur.
Yep.
Najee.
I think it was this. It was this, wasn't it? Or
Ooh,
yeah.
The hand gestures made it a little weird.
yeah. Either way, all right. Official Savage, good morning. It's a great day to be a Michigan Wolverine fan. True story, gentlemen. When I was a little kid, grew up on the West Coast. I don't know why this was the case. My whole dream was to play professional baseball, but then the football season, it was to play football at Michigan. I don't know why, but that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. But I stopped growing when I was like in 5th grade, and it never worked out because I was never 400 pounds, unfortunately. Javonte or ETN, epic fail. ETN does still play football. Unfortunately, Javonte does not. Matt, go ahead.
In all of my non-important leagues, I'm starting ETN in all of them. Don't really have an analysis for you other than he's who I'm starting.
Yeah, I just can't trust Javonte. Can't really trust ETN either, but I'll take ETN over Javonte.
Yeah, exactly what Dave just said. You can't really trust either one of them. A little more on ETN, but Tank Bigsby is back, so he'll cut into that workload a little bit. But still, give me ETN.
Yeah, I'm going to go ETN as well. Tank will be back, so I'm curious to see how that backfield plays out. But I unfortunately love Javonte early in the year, but it's just not working out, unfortunately.
Travis Etienne for me.
Yep, ETN as well. Savage question here: Addison or Cooper PPR?
Addison.
Yeah, I'm going to take Addison. I just haven't seen much out of Amani Cooper yet in Buffalo.
Yep, same for me. Addison.
Addison as well.
Yep, Jordan Addison for me.
Samesies. Starting to pick it up quite a bit there, and I think it'll be just fine. 2 more questions here. Lightning Bets, good morning. Morning Jets got a couple starts at questions here. Full PPR, start Hawkinson or Ingram. That's question number 1. And then question number 2 is start 2 in full PPR, Sutton, Chubb, Pittman, Hawkinson, or ETN. So 2 there.
I believe this is my guy Lightning. Chimes into my articles. So for Lightning, I already answered Hawkinson. I'm going to stick with Hawkinson. And for me right now, it's not close. I love Evan Ingram, but it's Hawkinson for me. Full PPR, I'm not playing Chubb against the Broncos. I would probably lean Hawkinson and Pittman, with Sutton being a 2B to Pittman's 2A.
Yeah, for me, it's Hawkinson for the first question over Ingram, and I'm going to go with Sutton and Hawkinson for the second question.
So I had a question in my article, the same here too. I don't know if it was Lightning, but it was the same 2 players, Hawkinson and Ingram. And I'm actually leaning Ingram a little bit. His targets are there despite who's quarterback, but I do like him with Lawrence. That we've seen in the past, the history's there, but I don't mind Hawkinson as well. But I'm gonna go with Ingram slightly in that tight end position. For the other 2, I'm not sitting Sutton. I mean, he's just been a monster, and they've got Denver. I mean, they've got Cleveland at home tomorrow night. I'm going to go with Sutton, no question about that. And for the other one, I'll take actually Hawkinson here because I do like him better than Pittman or Chubb or ETN, frankly. So Sutton, Hawkinson for start 2, and then Ingram over Hawkinson in the tight end position.
I'm going to go Ingram over Hawkinson. I just think Ingram's going to get a lot more targets today. I don't love the matchup for Hawkinson against Minnesota. Arizona's done pretty well against tight ends. And then for the next question, definitely Sutton. He's just balling with Bo Nix. And then I'm actually going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go with Pittman. I like his matchup against the Patriots, and he had his best game of the season last week with Richardson. So hopefully he can build on that.
I'm going to go Ingram as well for the first one. I think that the losses of Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk and Ingram starting to get healthy. I think he's going to roll in PPR. The second one, Sutton's the only lock. I actually do think Pittman's a better play because there's no Josh Downs today, and that will definitely help. The other guys are just tough. I think Chubb is like, you got to hope he gets in the end zone. Full PPR. Give me Sutton and Pittman.
Is Josh Downs with a sickness?
He is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is. It actually worked out. Solid. I'm going to go Hawkinson for – I'm sorry. I'm going to go Ingram for the first one, and then Sutton and Hawkinson. I'm going to go exactly with what Jeff said. We're going to get to Mr. Magic and then tune out here. Bill, I do see your question here. I just want to address this really quickly because I look back in the chat, and I'm not sure where it relates. Just to change your pick, you've got Dell too. We all like – or not all of us, but we like Dell. I looked at your previous question first off the bat was quarterbacks and tight ends. So I'm not sure where Dell would fit in, but majority of us do like the matchup there. So you can make that move. Mr. Magic, and then Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you. Mr. Magic has two questions here. I'll do one with Kyler and Jaden Daniels, full PPR. There's a 4-point touchdown, which kind of relates to both of these guys. They're both a rushing quarterback, which get that bump in the 4 league, and then we'll go with the tight ends here in a second. So quarterback question, Kyler or Jaden Daniels?
First of all, I don't think Jaden Daniels has earned a 2-letter nickname yet. Let's not just hand those over like they're candy on Halloween. Give me Jaden Daniels slightly over Kyler. And for the second question, as Bob mentioned earlier, I'm going to go Taysom over McBride. I'm going to stay away from the Minnesota defense today. Something tells me they're going to have a good game, and the Cardinals did not look great last week. Do they change that? I don't know. They're not a great football team. So give me Jaden Daniels and give me Taysom Hill for the two questions.
Okay, I'm going to agree with Matt. It's Jaden Daniels for me over Kyler Murray, and I will throw the dart at Taysom this week. I still think there's plenty of touches there for him.
Well, definitely going to be Jaden Daniels at the quarterback position. I'm looking up McBride here. Give me 1 second as I work through this. You know, even when he's not getting a lot of target, he's coming through. And I love Taysom Hill. Don't get me wrong. There's such an upside there, but there's also a very low floor. We just don't know what we're going to get. He's going to score 3 or 300, frankly. So I'm going with the more sure points. Give me McBride over Hill.
I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to finally get back to running the ball a little bit more with the running backs. Eckler being hurt. He had his first game over 50 yards, I think, since week 8. So I like his rushing upside better than Kyler. As I alluded to earlier, Kyler, Minnesota doesn't look very promising there. And then for the tight end, I'm going to go McBride. I just think he's a Sherlock tight end one for me every week. You can't second guess it.
Yeah, McDaniels definitely, and McBride as well. McBride's one of the very few tight ends that I don't think you could sit for Taysom Hill.
Who?
It is Josh McDaniels is the first one. Who's the second one?
Oh, we're going to go Visors.
Yeah, okay. We'll skip that. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. Matt, I agree. Maybe you wait till year 2 for the second letters, but kid's legit. Number 1 quarterback coming out in Sky's preseason rankings, but we don't talk about those. Should have been Bo Nix, but everyone was hating and I kicked myself. Second one is going to be McBride. No question about it. Yes, obviously Taysom can blow up, and maybe that'll happen. But McBride last week, 15 targets, gentlemen. And you'd be like, wow, that's a lot. But he's had over 10 3 times this season. He has not scored a touchdown since week 9, but still top tight end. So I like that a lot. I'm going to go McBride there, even in a tough matchup. And I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. Gentlemen, I wouldn't say we made it swiftly, but we did make it somehow through the first hour. We have a second hour coming up for everybody else. We do see the rest of you hanging out with us. Lindorfin's making some jokes about the boss. The boss's boss. So I'll keep those off the air, but solid knock there. Lindorfin's giving some love. Going to shade off of Judy there. Hopefully that doesn't backfire us. And then Lightning Bets I appreciate you. Good luck to you as well. Kyle Kiwi, we see in there. Epic Fails got a couple more questions. Harem, we see you in there as well, coming in every single Sunday. Appreciate you. I won't be here for Kyle Kiwi, guys, but I need you to ask if Kyle Kiwi's from New Zealand. That's important to me. If it is, let me know. Please do that. Going with the Bills DST, I would do that as well. Niners are going to be hurting probably. All right, everybody, we're going to be.
Is that Ben's burner?
That might be Ben's burner in the other Australia. Oh, he probably doesn't want to hear that. We don't want to start fights here on the program.
Little brother Australia.
Oh boy, it's been a blast. 2 of us will be dropping off. We'll see what happens moving forward here. You can feel free to place your bets moving forward. Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you here. Best of luck in the second quarter, and enjoy the rest of your football, everybody.
Thanks, gentlemen. All right, we're going to do the all right, folks, we're going to roll into the injuries for week 13. That's going to impact your fantasy football lineups. Let's get into them, and let's start with the early window. All right, the Texans at Jaguars. The Texans are going to be down some key guys up front and also their main safety. The reason why I'm really excited about Evan Ingram today in PPR formats, they are going to be down the Texans, one of their key guys in the back end. Trevor Lawrence returns, but they're also going to be down Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis. So I know Davis is kind of one of those names that slipped under the radar right before their bye week, but he's now out with Christian Kirk. So I do think there's a couple more targets for Evan Ingram this game. Tank Bigsby will be back as the 1-2 punch for Travis Etienne. The Texans are very tough against the run, so you might want to downgrade Travis Etienne if you have to. Colts at Patriots. Colts are the really banged up team here. Definitely leans towards Patriots. And honestly, this is a game where I think it'll be a little more low scoring, and both defenses are kind of in play. If you're really looking for a dart throw DFS or a streamer defense this week, I really do like the Patriots because of some of the injuries. Braden Smith, and also the Colts are going to be down to their third string center today, and they're also down their right tackle. So that included with Josh Downs. Anthony Richardson on the road in New England, cold weather conditions. I don't mind the Patriots if you really need a streamer defense in their matchup. Chargers at Falcons. Of course, the news, J.K. Dobbins is officially out. That means Gus Edwards will be the RB1. I'm going to say it wrong, but Kaimi Fidel, whatever, how you say his name, is a name to monitor. And I think if you have the bench spots in PPR formats, I do think he'll take the passing game role. But don't be surprised, Gus Edwards probably double-digit carries in this game. DJ Chark officially active today for that Chargers offense. I think if you're thinking about starting Quentin Johnson, it's a huge risk. DJ Chark could easily take over the role on the outside. I think if outside of Will Dissly and Ladd McConkey, I'm not too excited to start any other pass catcher in this game because of that news. Hayden Hurst also remains out, so that's good news for Will Dissly. On the defensive side, the Chargers are going to be down some key guys on the back end. According to Denzel Perriman, they're starting middle linebacker. Also, Alani Gilman and Cam Hart, 2 guys in their secondary as well, are banged up and out. So I think that's good news for Drake London and company. Listen, some reports and rumblings are coming out about Kirk Cousins' future in Atlanta. I think Kirk Cousins really needs to come out and play well out of the bye, so I think he's going to have a nice game. So I like London in this game as well. A couple of injury updates for the Falcons defense. There's a couple guys up front, James Smith-Williams, some more of the depth rotation pieces, but the Falcons front is going to be down a few guys. So that is good news for, of course, Gus Edwards, and also outside cornerback Mike Hughes for the Falcons is out. So listen, I honestly believe that if you have a deeper league, DJ Chark is someone I'm willing to stash. Listen, Justin Herbert's playing at a high level, and Quentin Johnson might have fumbled away the starting spot. So if you have depth on your rosters, DJ Chark is worth a speculative add this week. Jets at Seahawks. Looks like Noah Fant is back in, which could be notable as JSN has really came on strong over the last few weeks. Noah Fant was out, so I'm a little curious to see how that sprays across the board for the Seahawks pass catchers, but I do think JSN does have the best matchup in the slot against the Jets this week. Anthony Bradford is out. That's just notable. Seahawks are dealing with some injuries up front, but the good news is on the other side, CJ Mosley remains out, so not worried about Kenneth Walker on the road. Jumping over to the Titans at Commanders, of course, a couple injuries, rotations in the secondary for the Titans with Snead and Diggs out, but Chichobe Awuzie is back in. He was signed from the Bengals. Really good, solid corner, but coming off injury, could be expected to a slower start, but he's back for that Titans secondary. However, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, and company should have a solid day against that Titans defense at home. Tajay Spears is back in. That is notable for Tony Pollard on the road this week against the Commanders, who, by the way, will be dealing without Austin Eckler this week. I think Brian Robinson's a fantastic play. Great RB2 start with Austin Eckler out. Jerry McNichols is basically a desperation flex play, but he'll get about 25 to 30% of the snaps. Andrew Wiley, starting guard, is out today for the Commanders, but I think overall still pretty healthy, leans towards the Commanders. Steelers at Bengals. We talked a little bit about Alex Highsmith. He's the other guy across from TJ Watt. That is good news for Joe Burrow and company, as they won't be dealing with a full-strength Steelers defense. However, the Bengals defense is going to be missing some key guys at every level. Sheldon Rankins, Logan Wilson, DJ Turner. That's their defensive tackle, middle linebacker, and one of their outside cornerbacks is out today. I really like George Pickens in this matchup. I think that's good news for guys like, I think Jaylen Warren is an interesting flex play this week as he starts getting more of a timeshare with Najee Harris with some of those key injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Jump down to the later window. All right. Cardinals at Vikings. We are waiting on for some of these to be updated, but just wanted to bring some stuff to the attention. Ivan Pace is kind of the key name in that Cardinals-Vikings game. He's one of the young middle linebackers for the Vikings defense. That's good news for James Conner as he gets a slight bump in that matchup. And then you jump down to the Rams at Saints. Pretty much everybody's kind of healthy. Jamal Williams might be back. That is so notable if you've been debating on the Taysom Hill stuff. Jamal Williams coming back will take some carries away from Hill. So that's something notable and something to watch. As Chris Olave remains out, I think MVS is an interesting, if you're looking for a boom bust wide receiver 3, someone who can kind of take the top off the defense a little bit, has a decent matchup against the Rams on the outside. Jumping over to the Buccaneers at Panthers. We're still waiting on some information from the Bucs for their defense and offense, but they are going to be down some guys, including Tyreek Smith and Jordan Whitehead in the secondary today against Carolina. That's important to note for guys like Adam Thielen, who play in the middle of the field, as there'll be 2 guys missing in that back end for the Bucs. Listen, the Buccaneers are expected to put up points, so if you're looking for a reason to start maybe a couple Panthers players, this is the reason it's notable there. Jumping down to the Miles Sanders discussion here, he'll be out. Doesn't really matter with Jonathan Brooks back. Javonte Sanders and Jalen Coker, 2 of the younger players for the Panthers, are also out. Sanders was really coming on. Is dealing with a little bit of a stinger, should be back, but he was really coming on, and he was someone that I actually was looking at in stashing. But Sanders out, Coker also out. Could throw a couple more targets, as Tommy Tremble doesn't demand as many. So that could throw a couple more targets towards guys like Adam Thielen this week. Eagles at Ravens. Still waiting on Devonta Smith. They said he'll test his hamstring out in warmups, but because he's playing in the late window, that is a huge question mark. So I'm not 100% convinced. If you have Devonta Smith, you need to have somebody in the later windows to fill those roles. But some of the names that might pop out to you, obviously, yeah, I'm trying to look at some of these guys down here. I don't think you can really pick up anybody right now, but yeah, good luck. Darius Slay and Brandon Graham are out today. Brandon Graham are out today. That's big news for the Eagles defense. The Eagles do have a lot of depth in the front, and their young secondary is playing very well, but missing Darius Slay on the outside is big news today for guys like Zay Flowers and company, so that should help their matchup. And Brandon Graham being out should really help Derrick Henry's matchup against that Eagles tough defense. On the flip side, Charlie Kohler is the number 3 tight end for the Ravens, but he was getting some work. That should put Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely on the field a little bit more, so might move the needle just a little bit for them in a tough matchup against the Eagles. Jumping over to the 49ers at Bills, Brock Purdy's officially in, but he'll be down his left side of his offensive line as Trent Williams and Aaron Banks are both out today. So obviously the weather is not going to be as bad in Buffalo as initially thought. Right around 30 degrees, high 20s or low 30s, a little bit of wind, but not too much snow. So obviously with Purdy back does give you a slight boost. Juwan Jennings does have the best matchup against the Bills in the slot. So that is notable there. But dealing with 2 guys out on the left side of the line, I'll be interested to see what the guys say about that Bills defense this week against the 49ers. Demonor Lenore is out. That's the slot quarterback for the 49ers. Now, listen, the 49ers are the toughest slot matchup for any offense. And so, but they're going to be down their slot corner. So if you have to start Khalil Shakir in PPR formats, that is a slight boost for him. On the other side, they're also going to be down Nick Bosa as well. So A little more time for Josh Allen with Nick Bosa out. Flipping over to the Bills side of the football, Dalton Kincaid is out. Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper are expected to play. We're still waiting on Keon Coleman. Final word. Amari Cooper's definitely in. And Matt Milano is questionable. He should start. That's like their Pro Bowl middle linebacker. So that's good news for the Bills defense. Obviously, with some of the injuries to the Bills receiving core, I do think Khalil Shakur is a wide receiver 3 in PPR with that news of Lenore being out. Browns at Buck and Broncos. Jedrick Wills, Cedric Tillman, and Juwan Thornhill are out for the Browns side of the football. Listen, Cedric Tillman being out just means Jerry Jeudy's going to get a lot of Patrick Surtain. I think there was a tweet that came out about Elijah Moore as a potential wide receiver 3 this week because of the news that Cedric Tillman is going to be out. And if you look at our slot versus wide metric for the Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos defense has always been good in the slot. So you really want to attack them on the perimeter. So maybe Jerry Jeudy can get away enough from Patrick Surtain, but that's going to be tough all around for the Browns pass catchers. I think the correct answer here is David Njoku in this matchup. On the other side, Riley Moss, second cornerback for the Broncos, is out, which is just more initiative for Patrick Surtain to shadow Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Judy's going to have an okay game, but I'm not excited to start him. If you can avoid Jerry Jeudy against that Patrick Surtain matchup, I think that's the best bet. All right, that's all the injuries we got today, folks. Thank you for joining us. We're going to bring the guys back in here, and we're going to get back to your start sits and some Q&A here. Derek is going to be our host, handling the duties here. Dave will be tracking our answers. Jeff, I'm throwing you in the 2-hole, my friend, so get excited. Questions coming at you first. Derek, do you remember where we left off?
I do, yeah. And before we get back to those, just a quick weather update. We've talked about the Buffalo game a little bit, and we got on the ground reporting there. But also there's a couple other games that really want to kind of keep in mind. And not because of the snow, but really because of the wind. Indy at New England, they're calling for gusts up to 30, 35 miles an hour. And that's going to be a crosswind. So I expect that we've got 2 running quarterbacks there that might play a factor, maybe a bump up in the quarterbacks on the ground, but a little bit less for the receivers. Same thing in the Seattle Jets game, up to about a 30 mile an hour gusts with crosswind, and Tennessee at Washington, the same 25 with crosswind. So there's going to be some wind issues in the Northeast games as well, not just the snow in Buffalo. So we should keep all that in mind. All right, we getting back to the picks. We're back to Hiram. Pick 3 in a PPR. He's got Mooney, Shakir, Ridley, Bateman, Westbrook-Ikhine, who tends to get in the end zone every week now, and Pierce out here. So, Jeff, who do you have? Pick 3.
The other 2 that stand out is Mooney and Ridley. I do like Westbrook-Ikhine, just a good matchup, but I can't fathom starting 2 Titans. Then Shakur, the weather isn't the best, but he's been the best receiver for Allen, so I'm going to go Mooney, Shakur, and Ridley.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna take the same 3. Bateman's kind of a hit or miss guy, and I don't want to say Westbrook-Ikhine won't score a touchdown. He probably will, and Pierce is like a deep threat that may get 3 targets, may get 114 yards, but I'm still going to go with the safer floor guys.
Listen, Jeff, you nailed it, my friend. I am going to go with Jeff, Mooney, Shakir, and Ridley in this one. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same way. Make that a 4. I wanted to play Bateman, but again, those targets just aren't always there, and I just can't put my trust in putting 2 Titans on the field together as well. So Mooney, Shakir, and Ridley for me. All right, now we're down to Kiwi, and I saw 2 answer Sky's question. Kiwi is SoCal all day. So we got another SoCal showing up here. All right. So his first question is the defense question. Bills defense or the Cardinals? Jeff.
Yeah, is he making a statement? for the defense. I guess I'll go Bills with them.
I think there was a question earlier we didn't get to. Bills, Colts, Cardinals.
Go Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills as well.
Okay. Bills as well. It's good with me.
Yeah, same with me as well. We do have a super chat. Scott is back for another one. Struggling with this PPR flex: Pollard, Thielen, Jennings, or Flowers. What do you think, Jeff?
First one that comes to mind is I'm gonna go Tony Pollard. He's getting a lot of the workload. He's getting 20 plus touches. I'm gonna roll with the guy that's gonna get the touches out of these four.
Yeah, for me it's Pollard. I just Jennings is kind of. You hope he's going to do something, but the weather there is pretty scary. And Flowers, I don't think he's going to score enough points or get enough volumes to outdo Pollard. Thielen's kind of interesting. It's an interesting matchup against the Buccaneers, but I'm not ready to trust a Carolina receiver over a running back.
Bobby?
I actually am okay with Pollard, but the question, let's just do this right now. Like for me, from what I've gathered, from what you've said, Derek, and what I've read too, is like, I actually don't know if I'm that worried about the Bills weather anymore. And I think Jennings has a smash spot here. They're going to be trailing, probably in Buffalo, and the Bills are a pass funnel defense to the slot. And that's where Jennings gets half his work. So, how do you feel about, like, so you did say earlier you would play the Bills DST, so you're betting on that, but is that more because of the offensive line injuries? What's your overall thought there?
Yeah, well, for me, it's a lot of that West Coast team coming east into the elements, Purdy is playing hurt, so I'm gonna take advantage of some of those thorns, and I just think that the Buffalo knows how to play in this weather. They thrive in it. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on the Niners. So I definitely like Buffalo D for me. I'm probably going away from Jennings. I do like this maybe in a if they were playing at home, I think I would feel a little bit more strongly for Jennings, but no, for me, I'm going to go with Pollard as well. He's averaging 4 catches and like 5 or 6 targets per game consistently, and in that PPR, that makes all the difference. So it's going to be Pollard for me.
Yeah, I'm good with Pollard. I guess my other question: didn't he play at Iowa State though? Isn't like Iowa? Is Iowa like, what's the deal up there? Like, I don't know enough about Iowa to know if it's like the weather's bad up there, but like, he had to play some games in like the cold weather up there, right?
Yeah, it's cold in there.
All right. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. It's still Pollard. It's fine. I think the Commanders matchup is a fine matchup. I'm not going to stress about it, but I think Jennings is – listen, I think the biggest problem with Debo is that we thought with I think he was dealing with that injury to the ribs. He's wearing that huge, bulky thing. And I think Debo's going to be fine down the stretch. But I think the fact that Jennings has become the number one. So I hear you on the Jennings thing here, but I think Pollard's still the play.
Yeah. My biggest problem for the 49ers is Trent Williams is out.
Yeah. And those West Coast teams coming east in December is just that's just a tough play too. And that's a factor. Anyone who's you look at some of the teams that we've seen, like Miami going up, traveling up north. Even when they're the better team, it just has that evening effect. So yeah.
Well, I think Shanahan's gotta figure out to get McCaffrey going. And I think that's really where they would have a shot. But the problem is when you don't have your entire left side of the line, which is your strongest side, that's going to be a problem. But if they can get McCaffrey going, that's going to be the key. But with Matt Milano coming back, that should really help the Bills' run defense. So there's a lot of moving parts. I hear you. I was just kind of spitballing because I think the weather is going to be – we're going to overcorrect a little bit. And I think Jennings probably in play now because the weather isn't as terrible.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think we're going to overcorrect. I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think. So.
Okay.
So we have four for Pollard, 2 grudgingly.
All right, we got about 30 minutes to game time. Let's go through them. We got a couple more questions. Quentin Johnston with DJ Chark is active or Addison in PPR?
I'm going to go Addison.
Yeah, Addison for me as well. I know QJ is a threat to get a touchdown. He's also a threat to get 0. I'm going to take Addison.
I agree. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said all week, I said if Chark is active, I cannot trust QJ. Like, by the way, and last week his 3 drops were horrific, and it was on Monday Night Football. But prior to that, he had no drops according to PFF. So it's not like, but they clearly made Chark active for a reason. So he's gonna either rotate in at least, and that's not worth the risk for me. So I'm gonna go Addison.
Yeah, it's going to be Addison for me, too, for those very same reasons. And he's really coming on strong. So teams are trying to take Jefferson out, and then Addison's making them pay for it. So, yeah, stick with Addison. All right, Epic back. Westbrook Akine and his 1 touchdown per game average over the last 6 of the last 7 weeks, or Elijah Moore, who's come on lately.
Yeah, this is a fun one. We talked about Elijah Moore being a good start as WR3 with Surtain probably covering Judy all game. I kind of like the Westbrook. I don't know. I like Will Levis. He's playing well right now. They're slinging it, and so I just kind of like the Tennessee offense right now. So I'm going to go with Westbrook Akine.
Yeah, for me, it's a ceiling versus floor play. If I need to play it safe, I'm going to take Elijah Moore. But if I need a home run, I'll take Westbrook Akine. It's just not the volumes are just too different.
I'm going to go Moore here. Westbrook Akine will catch 1 pass for 40 yards and a touchdown. You're like, well, so I get it. I do. Yeah, but I can't. I'm just going to go Elijah Moore. I do think that there is something to the Denver matchup where they do play well in the slot, but I think Jameis Winston's just been white hot. It hasn't looked pretty, but like he throws for like 300 yards, and if Jerry Jeudy's going to be shadowed, I feel confident Moore is going to at least be a solid PPR play. So.
Yeah, for me, I think the Denver defense is more than Surtain. So I'm just not high on really, especially at this level of receiver, not high on pitting anyone against the Denver defense. So I'll go and I'll try to capitalize on that run that Westbrook Akine's had, get that touchdown and that 2 for 15 and a touchdown. I'll try to grab that as my deep wide receiver pick.
Sorry to epic fail. We've got to push here.
All right, Hiram is back. Disley versus Pitts. We did answer that one, and our buddy Epic let him know during the break that we did. It was one of his questions, I believe. And we were 4-2 with Disley over Pitts. The fourth one being Matt changing his answer after the smart people talked. So yeah, go 4-2. Disley over Pitts from earlier. All right, we got another fan question here. 2 wide receivers and a flex half PPR. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Michael Pittman, Evan Ingram with McBride at tight end already, or Jalen Warren. So there's some really nice options here. Half PPR, we need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Go.
And this one, I think Drake London is the best of the 3 receivers. Pittman is interesting. Garrett Wilson, and I don't know about that matchup with the weather. Devontae Adams as well, so it's kind of mixed. So I'm gonna. I don't want to bench Garrett Wilson, but I think the matchup is better for Pittman. So I'm gonna roll with London and Pittman. Bank that they keep that connection between him and Anthony Richardson, and then I like Ingram in the flex as the best receiver. Well, not better than Brian Thomas though, but he's gonna be the go-to for Trevor early on.
So you said Pittman, London, Ingram?
Ingram, yeah.
Okay. So I'm not benching Garrett Wilson. Not for all of these guys. For me, it's gonna be Garrett Wilson, London, and then that leaves it between Pittman, Ingram, and Warren. Out of the 3, I think I'm gonna go with Evan Ingram as well.
You know what's funny? By the way, Garrett Wilson, London, easy, locked in for me. But the irony is, like, when I was doing all the injury stuff, Ingram and Warren are the two guys that I'm like, I like a lot more now. And now I don't know what to pick because now it's like I think Ingram's going to be peppered with targets. Man, but it's half PPR. That typically means I want to go to the running back. I'm gonna go Jalen Warren. I'm gonna go Warren, just slightly ahead of Ingram. But honestly, I think it's a coin flip to me.
Yeah, I was actually thinking right along the same lines as you, Bobby. Of course, Wilson and London are locks for me, but it's between Ingram and Warren. And as I do as well, when you get to half PPR, I start looking more towards the running backs than the receivers. Even though the volume with Ingram, could be nice, very nice and high, like we hope for, with the other injuries that they have there. So. Either one is fine. I'm leaning slightly to Warren on this, just because he'll be active in both the running and the receiving game. So I think he just there's more opportunity for him. So I'm slightly leaning Warren in the flex over Ingram, but I certainly couldn't fault you for going for Ingram. But it's going to be Wilson, London, and Warren for me.
So we got all 4 for London. We got 3 for Wilson, 1 for Pittman. And,
I'm going to change my answer there, Dave.
Ingram
Sorry.
and Warren is a push.
Yeah, let's go Garrett. Yeah, you can't bench him.
All right. The Green Ranger is here. Full PPR. Devontae Adams or Darnell Mooney?
Keeping it with the Jets. I think Atlanta has more to play for right now, so I'm going to roll with Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, August me would have laughed at December me on this question, but I'm definitely going to go Mooney as well. Mooney has been a great play with Cousins, and Adams has been coming along. He could definitely crush it today, but I'm going to go with Mooney.
You know what? I don't know what's going on lately. Like I'm tired of I like the easy questions. I like the questions where I'm like, all right, I'm good. I know exactly what I want to say. This is another one where both these matchups, if you look at our slot versus wide metric, you can literally make an argument for both guys. Devontae Adams has basically taken over the big slot role for the Jets, and Seattle has been god-awful stopping slot receivers over the last 6 weeks. And then on the flip side, the Chargers are dealing with a bunch of injuries and have been terrible at stopping receivers overall. And so I think I'm going to go Devontae Adams. Screw it.
No, for me, it's going to be Mooney. I think Adams maybe has I would say a little higher ceiling, but I don't know if that's really true anymore. It's just that Jets offense is really in bad shape. They could bust out against Seattle today, but Seattle's been really good. Frankly, holding down offenses, even though they are traveling to the East Coast, and it's a weather game. We talked a little bit about 30-mile-an-hour crosswinds. So to me, there's just so many red flags going with Adams here. So give me Mooney for that one. And you're welcome, Green Ranger. Appreciate you, Dave. You want to give the totals on that? I don't know if we gave him a definitive answer.
It was 3-1 Mooney over Adams.
All right.
I think I might be wrong on that one. That's okay though.
All right. So I see you here trending 28. I don't see your question yet, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to put that in. You might have hit return a little too quickly, so go ahead and take some time. Put the question in. We'll get to it in a minute. Epic Fail has a kicker question we're going to get to in a minute, but there's actually a couple questions from earlier on that I believe we missed. So while we're talking wide receivers and we're talking Jets receivers in particular, in that same game, DK Metcalf or Garrett Wilson, PPR?
That is a good question there. Earlier, I said let's bench Garrett Wilson, and I changed my mind, which I'm subject to always changing. But I think I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson over DK.
Yeah, I like Garrett Wilson over DK. I would be happy with both of these guys, but I'm taking Garrett Wilson over DK.
Okay, I just want to. We got a little time because here's the other thing. Like I don't know why I always feel like I just want to confirm my validation here. The Jets defense has been kind of oddly bad against wide receivers recently. So like they had Josh Downs, but he's a slot guy. But the Indianapolis Colts receivers did well. Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison had 5 for 54 and 1, which isn't great, but he did well. Tank Dell went off against them. Oh, fuck. And Seattle has been – they got beat up by Jennings. And then they got beat up by Kupp and Robinson. Man. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson at home. What's the home road splits on that? Do we have a home road split? Wilson is much better at home. Is Metcalf? Let's see. Metcalf is better on the road. Stupid.
Of course he is.
But Wilson is like significantly better at home. So he's had 15 fantasy points at home and 10 on the road. Metcalf has been 12 points at home, almost 14 on the road. So close. But I'm gonna lean Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, this is a close one for me too. I'm gonna lean Garrett Wilson as well. Really, even though Adams is there, we've really seen that the offense still goes through Garrett Wilson. So, give me Garrett Wilson in that same game. They're playing in the same game, same conditions. Give me Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it's 4-0 Wilson, but it's closer than.
Definitely a close call. All right, now we'll move to defense. This one, I don't believe we answered this one either earlier. Bills.
Actually, I think we did answer this one.
Bills, Colts, Cardinals. Did we answer this one?
Yeah, we ended up, I think the person ended up coming back and asking another question. He cut it down to Bills and Cardinals. So I think we all went with the Bills.
We all went with the Bills. All right, excellent. All right, coming back down. Let's see. Kicker question. So this is to you, Bobby. First and foremost, epic fail. Kicker question. Parker, Romo, Koo, or Zane Gonzalez?
Kickers are always tough because I want to make sure like I give options for people that don't have like one of the top guys and just being able to stream guys. Of this group though, Koo is banged up. Zane Gonzalez is probably my pick here. I do like the Washington offense. I do think that Jaden Daniels will kind of start playing a little bit better. So I'm going to go Zane Gonzalez of these three. I also think Parker Romeo. Let me just pull it up. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, he's at 14, and then Younghoe Koo is dealing with an injury, and he's questionable. I think he's up, but I don't want to mess with a kicker dealing with an injury. So
they also activated a backup. So
yeah, I'm gonna go Zane here. Easy for me.
Jeff, Dave, you guys have anything to add for the kicker question?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gonzalez. Like Bobby said, Koo's hurt. Parker Romo. I like the Redskins over the Vikings.
Yeah, it's actually close for me, Romo and Gonzalez. But I'm going to side with Gonzalez. But I think Romo could have a sneaky week, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually the same with you, Jeff. I think he might have a sneaky week as well, but I'll go with Gonzalez. All right, trending. I still don't see a question here, so if you're still following, if you can throw that in real quick.
I got it. He texted me. It's a friend of mine. Let's see, Garrett Wilson. I'm going to say it's half PPR.
Yes. Need to half PPR is how he started.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Bucky.
Gary Wilson, Bucky Irvin, JSN, or Lad McConkey? Need 2, half PPR.
As Bob said earlier, this is a damn good question. I don't know if you can go wrong with any one of these guys. I think Garrett Wilson, obviously. And then I'm going to go Bucky Irving.
Yeah, I love all these options. And for me, Wilson's a slam dunk. And Bucky Irving versus Carolina is also a slam dunk.
Bobby?
God. Let's see. Lad is like one of those people where I don't feel like he's a true, like he doesn't operate. He scores most of his fantasy points in the slot, but he's still like the number one. Like he's more like a CD Lamb where the slot versus wide metric doesn't matter as much because he does get the ball everywhere. And he does get the volume, and I don't know if I want to fade him at all this week against Atlanta because the Atlanta matchup is very good. So I'm actually going to go McConkey. And the question is, do I want Bucky Irving versus Garrett Wilson? Bucky Irving. Is he going to get enough volume? That's the question. Against Carolina, yeah, I don't think he gets sit Bucky. I'm going to go Bucky Irving and Lad McConkey.
Yeah, I agree with Bucky Irving. I don't think you can sit him. He's been very good. He's active in both rushing and the passing game. So give me Bucky Irving for sure. And I'm going to lean just Garrett Wilson. I hear what you're saying, Bobby, with Lad McConkey, but I don't know. I can't go away at this point of the season. I can't go away from the Stars. You play the best players unless there's a really compelling reason not to, and for me, it's going to be Garrett Wilson. So Wilson and Bucky Irving for me.
Yep. So Irving's a sweep, and Garrett Wilson 3-1 over Lad.
Follow-up question to this: who do y'all like better, JSN or DK moving forward?
JSN or DK moving
JSN
forward?
or DK?
I'm going with DK.
Is this a dynasty question or is it just rest of season?
Yeah, just rest of season.
What's the metric say, Jeff? The rest of season slot versus wide analysis that I put together. What am I chop liver to you? Huh?
No.
Do you just say, hey Bob, thanks for all the work. I don't care about it. I'm just going to ask anyway.
It's a good promotion. Good promotion question.
Trying to help you out. Shout out to you, Bob.
Yeah. Well, the Seattle, by the way, if you haven't checked it out on Razzball.com, we do have a rest of season slot versus wide analysis that everybody else checks out besides Jeff. And if you look at the metric, the Seattle Seahawks actually have 40. They have They have the highest percentage of fantasy points. The defenses they face over the next. Let me try to figure out how to say this. 43% of the fantasy points rest of season are coming from the slot in the defenses they face. That's the highest rate. So that's great news for JSN. They have one of the toughest out wide schedules. So the correct answer based on the metric should be JSN. But I'm still going to lead DK.
Make it make sense.
Nope.
It's fantasy football. It doesn't make sense.
Yep. That's good. I was just wondering because I was thinking JSN is kind of maybe taking that role as Gino's go-to. So I was just curious.
What do you think, Dave? Who are you taking between the two?
Well, I actually like the metrics better. I'll take JSN over DK the rest of the way.
All right. Yeah, to me, it's the eye test, and it's still going to be DK. He's got the experience, the physique, just to dominate and take over. And I'm gonna roll with DK over JSN rest of the season. On the same vein, though, what about JSN versus Lad McConkey today, full PPR?
I think I'm going to go with Lad on this one. I think the Atlanta matchup is very favorable. It's also indoors. I prefer indoor matchups when you got two offenses. And I'm curious how the Chargers are going to look. without JK and just kind of what the offense looks like. And I think Vlad may get more targets.
Yeah, I have not looked at it.
Could blow up on me, but I'm going to go with JSN. I know the environment is more hostile towards the Seahawks than it is towards the Chargers, but I think at the end of the day, the Jets are more likely to throw to me.
I will say, so here's a couple things. Well, if you look at our home road splits, both these guys are both on the road, and they both are better at home. Lad is significantly better at home. The issue with Lad that I kind of have is that, like, a lot of his road games came in the first half of the season. He's a rookie, and he's really come on. So, I don't know. I if you look at the matchup itself, it's technically slighted towards JSN. But I just think that Falcons-Chargers game has much more juice to it, and I think I'm going to go that direction because if you just look at our metrics, the slot versus wide, it's eerily similar to Cincinnati Bengals, where the Bengals are a out-wide funnel defense. But I'm telling you, Lad's just that number one. And maybe with that rotation now at the other spot, receiver spots, I think Lad just gets more peppered with more targets. So I'm going to go Lad.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned a little more juice. That game has Vegas has them 6 points higher overall, and those points are going towards the Chargers. So, yeah, give me Lad McConkey here as well.
Okay, that's 3-1 Lad.
All right, Bill, you are not banned. I don't see
Yes.
a question. I don't see a question for you. So, if we missed something, you think we missed something, throw it in. We've got about 10 minutes before game time. We can get you in. So just go ahead and do that right now. We'll be right with you, my friend. All right. Epic fail comes back. Gus Edwards, Davante Adams, or Brian Thomas Jr.
PPR, so I have to go Brian Thomas. And then I'm going to go Davante Adams.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Edwards and Brian Thomas.
Shit, man. Brian Thomas is a lock for me. Like, I love Brian Thomas today. I'm super excited. By the way, Prize Picks, could we get a better alt reception line? By the way, sweet. They just started doing alt reception lines on Prize Picks. Super excited for that. Brian Thomas, come on, people. They didn't even give it as an option. And I wanted to play it, but of course they didn't. So that's just a side rant. Full PPR makes me lean Adams. Honestly, I don't know what to – like Gus's last week. If you look at Gus's numbers last week, he had like 9 carries for 17 yards. Now, granted, one of the plays was a backwards pass, and they credited it as a run, so he lost 7 yards, even though it was a sick catch. That they credited as a run play, so I get that. And he's a short yardage back, and he converts a lot of those, so it's not a huge deal. The Falcons are banged up a little bit, but man, I just feel like Adams is going to get like 6 catches today. Might be for 60 yards, and so I'm going to lean Adams full PPR over Gus Edwards.
Yeah, Brian Thomas is a lock for me, but normally I would go with the 2 wide receivers here, but I got a good feeling with Gus. You know, he's going to get the goal line work there, and so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see 2 touchdowns on his ledger today by the end of the day for Gus. Some short touchdown, not a lot of yards maybe, but certain 1, maybe 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr. and Gus Edwards.
Okay, so everybody wants Brian Thomas. We split on Gus and Davante.
All right, we've got another super chat. Thanks, Cosmo, for the super chat. Appreciate you being here, and you're welcome anytime. We're happy to help. Half PPR, JSN or Zay Flowers?
I'm fading Zay Flowers, so I'm going JSN.
Yeah, I love Zay, but I'm going to go with JSN as well.
JSN.
Yeah, I'm going to go JSN as well, but it's not as definitive as maybe some of the other guys. That Philadelphia-Baltimore game is supposed to be the highest scoring game of the week of the day. Zay Flowers is he's hot and cold, but he definitely does show up. So it's going to be close for me, but I lean JSN on this one. Thanks again, Cosmo. Appreciate
Cosmo. Thank you. And that's all four of us have JSN.
All right. Gabriel Hers and what's up, Gabriel? Stafford or over Burrow? Am I crazy?
Not that crazy, but I can't bitch Burrow right now. They're outside shot making the playoffs, so they're going to be throwing it a lot and relying on him. So you have to go with Burrow, especially with T. Higgins being healthy too.
Yeah, I love Stafford as well, but I don't think I can climb that far up to dump Burrow for him. So I'm going to go Burrow as well.
You go ahead, Derek. I'm still looking at something.
Yeah, you're definitely not crazy, but I'm leading Burrow as well. He's got 12 touchdowns to 1 interception the last 3 games. Pittsburgh is a stronger defense. They are coming off bye, though. I think, and they've got to win. It's a must win. So he's gonna if they're playing from behind by any means, or frankly just getting out front because they tend to lose the close games at the end. I think just Joe's going to be slinging it. So I'm going to go Joe, but I don't hate Stafford by any means, but I've just got to go Joe in that upside.
So he hasn't actually played Pittsburgh in a while. Last time he played them was in 2022 because he was hurt last year. He went over 300 yards in both games. He had 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in one game and 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in another. So it looks like he will be slinging it today. I think this one for me is if there's some leagues where they have a little more emphasis on turnovers and maybe you don't get as much upside with touchdown passes. So I think I'm okay with Burrow, but man, Stafford's dealing with a very banged up Saints defense as well.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna take the upside of Burrow. I'm not gonna sit him for this.
Yeah, it's 4-zip, but I don't think anybody sees this as a chasm, right? I think you're going to get a good game out of Stafford too.
Is Stafford Burrow's at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in Cincinnati. Stafford's in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's the tiebreaker. Burrow's better at home by a point, and Stafford's worse on the road by like a point. So I think that's a fun tiebreaker for me. Let's do that.
Yep. All right, this looks like a new one. I haven't seen this one. Super C and B challengers here. Pitts, Disley, Ertz, or Andrews, PPR. Jeff.
So gonna go back to Pitts and Disley. Disley, I've been siding on Pitts on the upside. Now throwing in Andrews and Ertz. I love Mark Andrews, just so hot and cold lately. Touchdown dependent. Isaiah Likely had a big game last week. Ertz is still playing really well, but I'm gonna roll with Kyle Pitts.
It was Disley over Pitts for me. You throw in Ertz and Andrews, and I love Ertz, but I don't think I can count on the volume. Out of these 4, I'm gonna go Andrews slightly over Disley.
So Philly who's Philly face? Let's see who they got beat up by Ertz and Mike Gesicki, which is kind of random. Someone's got to put up points, right, for Baltimore. I mean, you can't imagine it being completely.
It's not going to be 400 yards out of Derrick Henry.
No. What happened last week? I don't remember what happened with Andrews. You said Likely had a big game last week, but what did Andrews do? I don't even remember off the top of my head. He had 5 for 44 and a touchdown against the Chargers last week. I'm good with Andrews. Yeah, let's go Andrews.
Okay.
Tight ends versus the Eagles are the third lowest scoring of any team. So Eagles are really good against tight ends in general. I've got in my rankings, I've got Disley and Ertz back to back. So it's more of a kind of a gut feel for me. And I'm leaning Disley. I had him over Pitts earlier in the question we had, so I'm leaning Disley just a little bit. We probably we're no help at all, were we?
Yeah, we got two Andrews Disley.
It's 9:59. Sorry, we have to cut it off. 9:59. We got last one here. 9:59.
Back. Yeah. So
DK Harrison Tank.
Okay.
Go.
DK.
Yeah, DK for me.
Tank Dell.
Tank Dell for me as well.
Another no help.
Sorry, Bill. Maybe you want to be
two Dells.
Maybe you want to be banned after that.
Nice. Well, that's all we got today, folks. Derek, thank you for stepping in. Great job. Sorry to cut you off, Dave. Didn't mean to do that, but I looked out. It was 9:59. I was like, oh, shit, we got to answer this question. Appreciate you guys jumping on for another Sunday Live Start Shit Show. We will be back again and again and again all the way through the fantasy playoffs. Go check out our latest videos. We're doing a lot of fun stuff on rest of season rankings, rest of season starts, must-have defenses for your playoff stretch. And go check out all these guys' great articles. They're doing a fantastic job all season long. Thank you guys for joining us once again. This was a lot of fun doing the Hectabox, Hectagay. I don't even know what we were doing. I don't know if we had a formal name, but appreciate you boys for once again joining. We are out of here.